We will be taking a look into the life and accomplishments of actor and playwright William Gillette. Join me as I take a stroll through and learn the history of his 184-acre estate on the beautiful Connecticut River. This is the life and history of William Gillette. William Hooker Gillette was born in 1853 into a very prominent family, being that his father, Francis Gillette, was a U.S. Senator, and his mother, Elizabeth Hooker Gillette, was a direct descendant of the Reverend Thomas Hooker, one of the founders of Hartford, Connecticut.
Now, Mr. Gillette was an actor, a director, and a playwright. He's most well known for playing Sherlock Holmes in the theater.
Not only was he the most memorable Sherlock Holmes in the theater, he made the character into what we know today. Gillette created the legendary hat, pipe, and costume worn by Sherlock Holmes.
He made over $3 million and played Sherlock Holmes over 1,300 times in his 30-year career.
In 1882, at the age of 29, Gillette married 22-year-old Helen Nichols of Detroit, Michigan. Sadly, only 6 years into their marriage, she died of a burst appendix. They had no children, and Gillette never remarried.
It was on one of his trips up the Connecticut River out here that he found this property. This property is one of 7 hills running along the Connecticut River. The 7 hills are called the Seven Sisters. This hill is the tallest and southernmost, so this house was always called his 7th sister estate. Now, in 1914, he bought 115 acres and started work on his home. The outside is all native granite, which, as you can imagine, gets very heavy. So there are steel support beams running throughout the house. You will also notice that there is stone. That's local field stone. Mr. Gillette paid local farmers $1 a cartload to dig it up and haul it up here. You'll also notice that there's red mortar in between the stone. He loved the look of the field stone and really wanted it to stand out. So he had his masons dye it red in here, and it's black out in the hallway.
With no architectural training, Mr. Gillette was the architect and designer of everything in the house. He designed 47 original hand-carved doors throughout the castle, as well as 2 one-of-a-kind original Tiffany lights.
Inside the house, all the wood is southern white oak from Tennessee and Virginia. It is all hand-carved. It took 20 craftsmen 5 years to build these first 2 levels, from 1914 to 1919, and then the 3rd level and the towers were built between 1923 and 1926. These are light switches made to look like train switches, railroad switches. He loved trains.
He loved trains so much that he actually had a life-size train set and 3 miles of track built around his property.
Mr. Gillette died in 1937 at a ripe old age of 83. He had no children to leave the house to, so he left it to a niece and nephew. Unfortunately, this was during the Depression. They couldn't afford the upkeep on the house, so it went into auction.
In 1943, the state bought the house, 115 acres of land, and everything in the house for just $30,000. Today, aside from necessary renovations and up-to-date fire codes, the house is virtually the same as it was in 1943 when it was bought by the state. Gillette's Castle State Park attracts more than 200,000 people a year for castle tours, picnics, to hike the many walking trails, or just for a breathtaking view from 200 feet above the Connecticut River. To find out castle tour hours and directions, or to become a member of Friends of Gillette Castle State Park, call 860-526-2336 or go to the website at friendsofgilletteCastle.org.